Hello and welcome. I am Pranay Upadhyay and you are watching Namaste World, your daily window into the biggest stories shaping India and the world. We start in UK. A Bloomberg report claims that a British spy intercepted and fueled Canada's allegation against India in the Nijjar case. In Central Africa, President Droupadi Murmu's Angola visit strengthens India's energy, defense and strategic footprints in Africa. Back in the South Asia, Afghanistan and Pakistan peace talks in Istanbul collapsed yet again, leaving border tensions high and ceasefire on edge. And in America, Michelle Burry bets billions against AI giants, warning of a looming tech bubble. And the biggest story of the day, President Donald Trump unveils a bold plan of $2,000 dividend for Americans, powered by surging tariff revenues. All that and more. Global flashpoints, power plays, and the stories that matter in this edition of Namaste World. In a major announcement, President Donald Trump has proposed a $2,000 dividend for most Americans, funded by surging tariff revenues. He shared this on Truth Social. He said that it excludes higher earners and targets the $37 trillion national debt while fueling the economic growth. Trump branded the tariff critics fools, crediting the policy for America's record stock surge and low inflation. Tariff now serves the dual role in Trump's strategy: a domestic political boon, delivering cash to workers and amplifying America First appeal, and for foreign policy hammer, targeting many countries on trade gaps, including India, in the name of fair deals. According to President Donald Trump, revenues have soared to $250 billion this fiscal year, upending global supply chains. The timing of this announcement is striking, just days after the Supreme Court probed President Donald Trump on the use of 1977 Emergency Power Act for these tariffs. Lower courts deemed it an overreach without Congress approval. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent eyes the text tweak as a workaround. Eligibility and rollout details remain unclear as far as President Donald Trump's $2,000 dividend is concerned. But the bold play cements tariffs as Trump's economic linchpin. A new Bloomberg investigation has reignited tensions between India and Canada, the United Kingdom claiming that British intelligence intercepts were central to Canada's allegation linking India to the killing of Sikh separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The revelation raises bigger questions about covert alliances, digital surveillance, and diplomacy in crisis. How deep did the British connection really run? Here is a report by Rudrashish Kanjilal.
It was a revelation that has once again stirred the diplomatic pot. A new Bloomberg report has claimed that British intelligence intercepts were central to Canada's allegations linking India to the killing of Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar in June 2023. According to the report, the UK's Government Communications Headquarters, or GCHQ, intercepted a series of phone calls that appeared to discuss three potential targets. Among them, Nijjar, Avtar Singh Khanda, and Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, all figures connected to the Khalistan separatist movement that India designates as extremist. The intelligence was reportedly passed on to Canada under the Five Eyes Alliance, a secretive intelligence sharing network between the United Kingdom, United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. In late July 2023, the report claims there was a breakthrough when Britain obtained what it called relevant information tied to the Nijjar case. But this wasn't just another diplomatic cable. The information, the documentary alleges, was so sensitive it was hand-delivered to Ottawa, kept off all electronic systems, and restricted to a select group of Canadian officials pre-approved by London. The intelligence file reportedly contained summaries of intercepted conversations between individuals believed to be acting on behalf of the Indian government. Those discussions allegedly revolved around the three targets, and later, the intercept suggested Nijjar had been successfully eliminated. For context, Hardeep Singh Nijjar was designated a terrorist by India in 2020 for his links to Khalistani extremism, a separatist campaign calling for an independent Sikh homeland carved out of India's Punjab state. He was shot dead outside a Gurudwara in Surrey, British Columbia in June 2023, an act that ignited one of the most serious diplomatic rifts between India and Canada in decades. The other alleged targets also have complex stories. Avtar Singh Khanda, a British Sikh activist based in Birmingham, died in June 2023 after a battle with blood cancer. The third man, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, remains alive and is featured in the Bloomberg report itself. So far, the UK government has not commented on the alleged intercepts or the claims made in the documentary. India, for its part, has rejected the entire premise outright. New Delhi has described the Canadian allegations as absurd, motivated, and politically driven. The diplomatic freeze between India and Canada lingered well into 2025 until a political change in Ottawa opened a path to reset ties. The victory of Liberal Party leader Mark Carney in Canada's April election marked a quiet turning point. Still, questions remain unanswered. If the Bloomberg Originals documentary is accurate, how much did British spy agencies really know? And why was that intelligence shared selectively, if at all, with Canadian lawmakers and the public? As India and Canada cautiously rebuild trust, the story of these British spy intercepts underscores a deeper truth about modern geopolitics. That in an age of data, deception, and digital diplomacy, even a single phone call can reshape relations between nations. With Rudrashish Kanjilal, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
In Istanbul, another bid for peace between Afghanistan and Pakistan has collapsed, despite mediation by Turkey and Qatar. Weeks of talks ended in deadlock. Border tensions are rising and refugee continues to suffer amid deep distrust and tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan. With diplomacy failing yet again, is lasting peace between Kabul and Islamabad now slipping away? Here is a report by Shaurik Saha.
In Istanbul this week, hopes for peace between Afghanistan and Pakistan collapsed once again. After days of tense negotiations mediated by Turkey and Qatar, both sides walked away empty-handed. The talks aimed to cool down weeks of deadly cross-border clashes and to rescue a fragile ceasefire still hanging by a thread. But instead of progress, the meeting ended in deadlock. Since the Taliban's return to power in 2021, Pakistan says it's faced a surge in attacks by the Tehrik-i-Taliban-Pakistan or TTP. A group Islamabad insists operates from Afghan soil. Kabul denies it all, saying Pakistan's problems are homegrown. Taliban spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid blamed Pakistan for unreasonable demands, insisting Afghanistan wants peace but will defend itself if war breaks out.
اوربان خو د پاکستان سره سو موږ له خوانه کوم متفقي وجود نه لري او هغه به مراعات کیږي دا ځل د خبرو جریان ولې موافق نه سوم یادونه په خپل اعلامیه کې کړی ده چې پاکستان غوښتنه کوله چې پاکستان د نن امنیت هم د مسؤلیت افغانستان ته راځي سي او افغانستان هغه کابو کې حال داسې د افغانستان د توان خبره نه و او خپل به هیڅ ډول امنیتي مسؤلیت اخیستلو ته ژمن نه و ځکه خبرو نتیجه ورنه.
Pakistan's Defense Minister Khwaja Asif told reporters that talks were over, accusing Kabul of refusing to sign a written deal, calling it a complete deadlock. Meanwhile, the fallout is hitting ordinary people the hardest. Pakistan has kept its major border crossings closed since October, strangling trade and trapping hundreds of trucks on both sides. And over 1 million Afghan refugees have been forced to return home, deepening the humanitarian strain. Mediators Turkey and Qatar had hoped Istanbul would mark a turning point. Instead, it's become another missed opportunity in a conflict defined by mistrust and retaliation. With no date for the next round of talks and the ceasefire growing thinner by the day, the Afghanistan-Pakistan border remains on edge, and peace once again feels out of reach. With Shaurik Saha, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
President Droupadi Murmu's visit to Angola marks a historic first by an Indian president. But it's about far more than ceremonies and celebrations. From energy security and defense ties to critical minerals and technology cooperation, India is quietly expanding its footprints in Africa. Is this visit a turning point in India's Africa strategy? Here is a report by Farhan Khan.
India's President Droupadi Murmu is in Angola on a 4-day state visit, the first ever visit by an Indian president to the country. On the surface, the trip looks ceremonial, attending Angola's 50th Independence Day celebrations and marking 40 years of diplomatic ties next year. But beneath the formalities lies a much bigger strategic story. India and Angola already share a strong relationship, especially in the energy sector. Angola is one of India's major suppliers of oil. In fact, almost 80% of India's current $5 billion trade with Angola comes from oil and gas alone. As India continues to be one of the fastest growing energy markets in the world, securing stable fuel supplies is essential, which means Angola matters a lot.
Our partnership with Angola from energy security perspective is very critical, and we would like to explore the possibility of providing sort of more momentum and depth to our partnership in the energy sector. Angola has a large segment of arable land, and they are very keen that Indian expertise, Indian technology in the area of agriculture can be utilized by Angolan side. So we are very ready to share our experience with the Angolan side, and this visit will give us a chance to discuss those elements also.
During the visit, India and Angola signed multiple agreements, including cooperation in fisheries, aquaculture, and marine resources. But the real significance lies in what was discussed behind closed doors: defense cooperation, technology partnerships, critical minerals, and long-term energy contracts. India has already approved a $200 million line of credit to help modernize Angola's defense forces. This is part of a larger pattern. India has been quietly deepening defense partnerships across Africa, training officers, supplying defense equipment, and co-developing capabilities. In Angola's case, this aligns with its own push to diversify defense ties beyond traditional partners like Russia and China. Next, energy security. Indian companies are looking to sign a long-term agreement to buy Angolan oil, while also exploring investment in Angola's onshore and offshore petroleum fields. And it doesn't end there. India is also interested in refining projects, fertilizer production, and crucially, critical and rare earth minerals. Why is that important? Because the future of electric vehicles, batteries, renewables, semiconductors, basically the future of modern technology depends on critical minerals. And right now, China dominates the supply chain. To balance this, India needs new partners. Angola, with its underexplored mineral reserves, fits perfectly into India's national critical minerals mission. Then there's diamonds. Angola is one of the world's biggest diamond producers. India is the global leader in diamond cutting and polishing. You can see the synergy. Angola has the stones, India has the skill and industry. Both sides gain. On the technology side, President Murmu made a pitch for sharing India's railway modernization experience. She highlighted the Vande Bharat high-speed trains, suggesting that Angola could also integrate such systems in its infrastructure rebuild.
Angola has a sizable rail corridor, and I gather that they are trying to develop more connectivity towards Namibia as also towards Zambia, or DRC, and they are trying to sort of look at the possibility of partnership in the area of rail infrastructure. So again, we haven't received any clear concrete proposal from Angola, but maybe during this visit, this issue may come up for discussion, and we will be very happy to engage and see what are the possibilities in this direction. We have tremendous capacity, of course, in the rail sector, and we have been working in Africa in rail sector with Mozambique and other countries.
And with both India and Angola having young populations, skill development emerged as a key theme, training youth for new sectors like digital services, cybersecurity, defense technology, and advanced manufacturing. Finally, there is the Africa strategy context. India's engagement with Africa is not random, it is deliberate. Africa is going to be a major player in global growth, minerals, trade corridors, and strategic partnerships. China already has a massive presence. Europe is trying to return. The US is showing renewed interest. India cannot afford to be absent. So President Murmu's visit is about more than celebrating anniversaries. It is about securing long-term energy stability, expanding defense collaboration, locking in access to critical minerals, strengthening economic diplomacy, positioning India as a reliable strategic partner in Africa. The visit strengthens India's footprint in a continent that will shape the next phase of global power politics. India is not just looking at Africa as a market, but as a partner in development, sustainability, and future technologies. With Farhan Khan, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Here is a man who saw the 2008 economic crash coming, and now Michael Burry is making another billion-dollar bet. This time, he is shorting the AI giants Nvidia and Palantir, warning of a brewing tech bubble. Is this the start of another financial reckoning, or is Burry betting against the future itself? Here is a report by Dibangana Datta.
Michael Burry is making headlines again. And when the man who predicted the 2008 financial crisis makes a move, Wall Street listens. The legendary investor from The Big Short is now betting over $1 billion against artificial intelligence. $187 million against Nvidia and a staggering $912 million against Palantir. So what does this mean? Let's break it down simply. When you normally invest, you buy a stock hoping it goes up. Shorting is the opposite. You're betting it will fall. Burry bought put options, which gives him the right to sell these stocks at a specific price. If they crash, he profits big. If they rise, he loses. It's high-risk investing that requires serious conviction, and Burry has clearly made his call. The timing is striking. On November 4th, filings revealed his massive positions. The next day, Palantir's stock dropped 8%. Despite posting blockbuster earnings that crushed Wall Street expectations. Nvidia fell 4%, dragging the entire Nasdaq down with it. Days earlier, Burry posted cryptically on X. Sometimes we see bubbles, sometimes there's something to do about it. Sometimes the only winning move is not to play. He's not alone in his concerns. Palantir trades at 228 times forward earnings. For context, a typical tech stock trades at 20 to 30 times earnings. Investors worry the AI industry is making circular deals amongst itself, inflating valuations without creating real economic value. It's eerily reminiscent of the dot-com bubble. Palantir's CEO Alex Karp suggested it might even be market manipulation. These people claim to be ethical, but they're shorting one of the greatest businesses of the world. He has a point. Unlike many AI startups, both companies are profitable and growing fast. Palantir just signed a $10 billion contract with the US government. Nvidia reported $30 billion in revenue last quarter. So why would Burry bet against them? Here's the thing, he has been right before, when everyone thought he was crazy. In 2005, when the housing market seemed unstoppable, Burry studied the data obsessively and realized subprime mortgages were a ticking time bomb. Wall Street laughed. His investors demanded their money back. But when the market collapsed in 2008, his fund made 489% returns. He personally earned $100 million. Now he's making another contrarian bet. The question is AI a transformative technology reshaping the economy? Or are we in a speculative bubble that will burst? AI optimists point to real breakthroughs like ChatGPT and autonomous vehicles. But skeptics see warning signs everywhere. Sky-high valuations, companies adding AI to their names to boost stock prices, and a gold rush mentality driven by fear of missing out. We have been here before. The dot-com bubble, the housing bubble, the crypto bubble. Each time believers said this time is different, and each time billions evaporated overnight. While we do not know Burry's exact bet, what we do know is this. The AI sector is at a critical inflection point. If Burry is right and a correction comes, it won't just hurt portfolios. It could slow AI development and shake the entire tech sector. But if he's wrong, Burry loses hundreds of millions, and the critics will get the last laugh. Will Burry be vindicated once again, or will AI prove him wrong this time? With Dibangana Datta, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
As we wrap up today's show, here is a quick look at the top stories making waves around the world. Typhoon Fungwong batters Philippines, killing 4 and displacing over 1 million. as authorities assess damage before it heads toward Taiwan. Iran is facing the worst drought in decades, with Tehran reservoirs nearly empty and officials warning that water rationing or even evacuation may soon be unavoidable. 2 passenger trains collided in Slovakia, injuring dozens, including 11 hospitalized. This is the country's second major rail accident in a month. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Namaste World. From breakthroughs in technology and businesses to political developments and natural disasters, stay tuned as we bring you the latest updates, key developments, and more from New Delhi to New York. See you again tomorrow at the same time, right here on Namaste World.